speaking of emerging technologies, what challenges or successes have you experienced in adapting new technologies in your business, Van?
Well, I would say the biggest challenge, starting with challenges, is training your people. Not only your salespeople to sell it effectively, but your technicians to repair it, your installers to install it. It's new, so and it's highly technical, so it requires a lot of training. So that's I would say is the biggest training, but it's worth it because if you can sell that, you're not selling against anybody else. You're not just a bid. You know, it's not just a fork truck with another fork truck. Now you're taking the game, changing it, and selling a solution. So we've had some success selling particularly safety. Emerging technologies around safety and avoiding pedestrian interactions with equipment has been, I think, really successful for us.
And what are some of the challenges you've faced with the new emerging technologies?
Yeah, one of the big challenges that we've faced is actually a couple are the speed at which companies are coming to market. It seems like more and more are showing up almost every day. You go to ProMat or Modex and they're everywhere. And so staying up to speed on what technologies are out there and how you can implement them into customer sites. Another challenge is that these new technologies are just that, they're new. Mm-hmm. And customers rarely want to be the first.
Sure.
And they don't want to be the guinea pig for some technology that, while it works in a trade show booth, it may not work in an operating environment. And so that's been one of the big challenges, is trying to get companies to kind of be one of the first to adopt that technology.
You got to find the early adopters.
Yep.
Because those other people want to know, have you done this before? How did it turn out? And if you say, well, no, you're my first. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, that's been a big hurdle to overcome. But there are companies out there that are interested in investing in those technologies. And so one of the successes is by finding an ROI that is suitable to that company. And so we have found some success.
And to follow up on that, how are you keeping your staff ahead of these technologies to make sure they can then educate your customers and coworkers on the new technologies?
Yeah, great question. So training is a challenge. We constantly have to be working with our vendor partners. We have to rely on them to come in and train us because they know their product better than we do. And so we rely on them. But we recruit a lot from the industry. You know, people that have experienced that technology, and we recruit them into our company. And so, by expanding our, just knowledge base and diversity and experience, they can kind of cascade that knowledge through the rest of the company.
Gotcha. And Lori, what about you? What is that experience for you?
So the experience that we're having is training our employees also. That seems to be one of the challenges, and it's a challenge for us because our employees, I think, are fearful of learning the new technology, but also fearful of losing something that they've known and going into the unknown in fear of replacement. So we're using it as a promotion for them to learn new things and to get into new areas instead of staying stagnant in their existing position.
That makes sense.
Another plug, if I could.
Yes.
I think MHEDA is very good about, this is obviously one of our material handling business trends. So a lot of the education throughout the year is going to be about learning about the different technologies that are coming down the line, and then come to convention and you're going to see some of them. So I think that's been really helpful because, as you mentioned, a lot of these new companies bringing these new technologies, they haven't been around that long. So while you rely on them for training, it's still so new and so technical that and to your point, there's new people joining it all the time. So who's better? Who's got the better mousetrap? So it's comes with a lot of challenges, but it can also be very rewarding in the end.
And one of the biggest risks that an end user has when they implement one of these newer technologies is what happens if it doesn't work. And if it goes hours or even days without working, what is the business loss and disruption that causes to that? And so, when it comes to selling automation or emerging technologies, it's all about trust. And part of that is having the service network available within, sometimes hours to be able to get that system back up and running. And so that's one of the challenges that we have, especially with newer technologies, is you don't have the service capabilities readily available to go out and fix something if it does go down.
How do you fast track that?
We're figuring that out now.
It's kind of like building the plane while you're flying it.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the technology that we're, of course, selling and servicing into the industry. What about the technology that you would use in-house for your own staff and your own processes? What are some of the wins that you found either in AI or with new technologies to make yourselves more efficient?
AI, ChatGPT, Claude. Actually, at the Women in Industry conference last week, they had a great speaker. It's about streamlining your time and bettering your processes. So it's giving your employees more time. And I think if you sell that to your employees, they're going to be more apt to learning it and utilizing it. And it's just something we're going to continue growing with and learning with because the technology moves so quickly with it.
I agree with that. Obviously, we use AI a lot in our business for efficiencies, but one of the things that we have also learned is it can help us with predictive maintenance. It's better than any other tool that's out there for that. And it's better at forecasting than we ever have been. Yeah. So there are tools out there. It's a tool that we have. It seems like there's not a month that goes by we're not using it for something else.
It was amazing last week when the speaker was showing us some different things. For instance, taking 3 documents that people have corrected, and normally you'd manually go through line by line to correct it and put it all together into one document. There's an app, you just put all 3 in, you take a picture of it, and it basically puts all 3 updated documents into one. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, we've used a tool called Gong, which records phone conversations when the other person accepts.
Key point.
Yeah, you have to ask for permission for that.
Did you get a warrant?
But it will listen and it will take notes, but then summarize with key takeaways and then action items and next steps, and also recommend on next appointment date. And so we've used that in kind of our business development.
Yeah, that's great.
To record those conversations, as well as just recommending on the next kind of sales cadence that you should take, as you're prospecting for new business.
I just wrote that down. That's Gong.
Gong.
Yeah,
G-O-N-G.
G-O-N-G. Yeah, that's great.
Good.
I mean, the time that has to save.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can share it with your team. Like, you don't have to take notes or type up notes and then try to put them in a format. I mean, it will just summarize it all and send it to you, and then
just think what it'll do for a board meeting.